Yasodananda Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tirha Vanacharya Yamuna Tirha Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivanadari Yasodananda Braja Janaranjana Yasodananda Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tirha Vanacharya Yamuna Tirha Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada-Acharya Asatara Satushi Shriman His Divine Grace Lacy Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Harival, glorious to the sound devotees, all glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Agyanatamanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguro Shiyuta Parakamalam Shigurum Vaishnavams Cha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakans Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshina Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Drubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, The Advent of Lord Krishna, the Introduction, text number 18. Gora Bhutashru Mukhi Hina Kradanti Korunam Vibo Upastitantike Rasmai Yasanam Samavochata Gora Bhuta Vashru Mukhi Kina Krandanti Karunam Vibo Upastitantike Tasmai Yasanam Samavochata. Excuse me. Ladies. Gor, the shape of a cow. Budva, assuming. Ashumukhi, with tears in the eyes. Kina, very much distressed. Krandanti, weeping. Karunam, piteously. Vibho, of Lord Brahma. Upastita, appeared. Ankite, in front. Tasmai, unto him. Lord Brahma. Vyasanam, her distress. Samavochata, submitted. Just translation, there's no purport to this verse. Mother Earth assumed the form of a cow. Very much distressed, with tears in her eyes, she appeared before Lord Brahma and told him about her misfortune. Translation, text 19. Brahma tad upadarayata saha deva devais tayas saha jagama satri nayanas tiram kshetra payonide shira payonide Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Prabhupada. Thereafter, having heard of the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva and all the other demigods approached the shore of the ocean of milk. Please repeat. After having heard of the distress of Mother Earth, Lord Brahma with Mother Earth, Lord Shiva and all the other demigods approached the shore of the ocean of milk. Purport. After Lord Brahma understood the precarious condition of the earth, he first visited the demigods headed by Lord Indra, who are in charge of the various affairs of this universe. Lord Shiva is responsible for annihilation. Both maintenance and annihilation go on perpetually under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sarunam vinashayata diskritam. Those who are obedient to the laws of God are protected by different servants and demigods, whereas those who are undesirable are vanquished by Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma first met all the demigods, including Lord Shiva. Then along with Mother Earth, he went to the shore of the ocean of milk, where Lord Vishnu lies on a white ocean island, Svetadvip. Text 20. After reaching the shore of the ocean of milk, the demigods worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Master of the whole universe, the Supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. With great attention, they worship Lord Vishnu, who lies in the ocean of milk, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as Purusha Sukta. Purport. The demigods such as Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, King Indra, Chandra, and Surya are all subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aside from the demigods, even in human society, there are many influential personalities supervising various businesses or establishments. Lord Vishnu, however, is the God of gods, Parameshvara. He is Parama Purusha, the Supreme Being, Paramatma, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He is an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. No one is equal to or greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he is described here by many words. Jagannatha, Deva Deva, Risha, Kapi, and Purusha. The supremacy of Lord Vishnu is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10:12 in the statement by Arjuna, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shasvatam Devyam, Adidevam Vajam Vibhu. You are the Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier, the absolute truth in the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original, and you are the unborn and all-pervading beauty. Krishna is Adi Purusha, the original personality of Godhead. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, and all the Vishnu Tattvas are Parameshvara, Deva Deva. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskyadyade Sadarane. Srila Prabhupada writes in the introduction to the Krishna book that there are three different classes of people who will appreciate the 10th canto of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. One class is the materialists. Materialists doesn't mean simply ordinary common materialists. They're considered to be vikarmis. But the karmis, the materialists that Prabhupada is talking about, are within the classification of the Bhagavad Gita. Chatura vida bhajante mam jana sukritina arjuna artha jignasya artharati gyani chabharatarshava. There are 4 kinds of pious people approach Krishna. Namely, those who are in distress, those who want money or material advancement, those who are inquisitive, and those who actually have knowledge of the absolute truth. So these are considered to be materialists. At least their primary concern is not love of God, it's love of themselves and their material circumstances. And these are exemplified in the beginning cantos of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Because the first one is Gajendra. Of course, Gajendra doesn't appear until the 8th canto. But then we have Dhruva Maharaj, who's in the 4th canto. And then we have the sages of Naimisharanya, who are in the 1st canto. And we have the 4 Kumaras, who are also in the 7th canto. So these are materialistic devotees. They're mixed devotees. Some desire from service appeared. Gajendra appeared rather under drastic circumstances. He was suffering from an acute foot problem for a long time before he decided to approach Lord Vishnu by some good fortune or by his past pious activities. As being a devotee of Vishnu, had been cursed to take the form of an elephant in the heavenly planets. And of course we have Dhruva Maharaj, who wanted a kingdom greater than that of his great-grandfather. His father was Uttamapada, his grandfather was Swayambhuva Manu, and his great-grandfather was Lord Brahma. So he wanted a kingdom greater than the whole universe, which is quite an ambition. Some people want the whole universe, and some people want something bigger than the universe. And then we have the sage of Naimisharanya, who ask the questions because they're Jignasya. Basically speaking, for instance, Krishna Sudama Bhagavate Jnana Dharma Jabi Saha Kalo Nashta Drishamesha Puranarko Dunoditaha. Now that Krishna has left the planet and taking with him Dharma and Jnana, so where is religious principles now resting? And this will be answered in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And then we have the 4 Kumaras, who were liberated souls from the material concept of life, but they were impersonalists. And by some fortune, they went to Vaikuntha after some time, and there they met Lord Narayan. So these 4 classes of people, they will become attracted to the Bhagavatam by hearing about it, or maybe Prabhupada's including other people in the introduction to the Krishna book, even some materialists who are a little pious. Pious in this sense is that although they'll be attracted to the Bhagavatam because it appears to be like ordinary dealings between young boys and young girls, but because hearing from the right source with the right attitude, they'll also benefit from hearing the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, or the Krishna book, the 10th canto specifically. On the other hand, those who are liberated beyond the material concept of life, and then we're talking about those who have gone beyond even the 4 Kumaras, or at least on the level of the 4 Kumaras, who are actually situated in Brahman, and then when they hear the 10th canto, it's enlightening and encouraging for them to make further spiritual advancement. And the Paramahamsas, those who are actually situated in the platform of love of God, they'll relish Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Therefore, we have to hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam according to our qualification. Actually, Prabhupada did not recommend that we hear Śrīmad Bhāgavatam until we understand thoroughly how the material world works. Because the material world is a pastime of Lord Vishnu, and unless we understand the pastime that's right before us, it's practically impossible to understand a pastime which is unlimitedly more subtle than the pastime we're already experiencing. Unless we can come to the platform, for instance, Tattenu Kampam Susamikshamanam Punjana Evatma Kritam Vipakam Vidvagvabhupiravi Danamaste Diveta San Bhukti Sade Siddhayava. Unless we can come to that platform, Tatte Anukampam, then we're actually calling out for Lord Krishna, for His mercy. Most people are calling out for Lord Krishna, if they call out to Him at all, in order to get His mercy in the form of material advancement. In other words, those who are a little pious, when they approach Vishnu, Krishna, including Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, they're more or less looking for Nigama Kalpatarar Galitam Palam Sukhamukam Drava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Alayam Mahura Rasika Bhuvi Rasika Bhavukaha. They want something from the desire tree of the Vedic literature, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And the Bhagavatam gives them exactly the opposite. Not exactly the opposite. It gives them something more than just what they're looking for, we could say. They're looking for instance, Gajendra in the 8th canto, he's looking for freedom from distress, which is the primary reason why most people approach Lord Krishna, and they approach the Bhagavatam. Generally, we're able to sell sets of Bhagavatams to Indians, our Indian congregation especially, but they're not necessarily thinking, let me buy the Bhagavatam and I'll go back to Godhead. They're thinking, let me buy the Bhagavatam. And this is so pious activity that I'll get a wife, a house, and a color TV. Om Jai Jagadish Hare. Just like Prabhupada was on a train and surrounded by his sannyas disciples, and some Indian gentleman wanted to come on board to speak to Srila Prabhupada, to get his blessings, of course. And Prabhupada, well, the disciples knew that they're just going to waste Prabhupada's time asking for some blessings. Ashirvad, please fulfill my desires. Like, generally speaking, Prabhupada mentioned that when you become a spiritual master, sometimes you think, oh, now I'll have so many servants. And the disciples are thinking, now finally I have someone who can fulfill all my desires. It's like when you get married, before you get married, you think, well, I'm looking for the goddess of fortune because she'll serve my lotus feet and massage them all day long. And the lady is thinking, I'm looking for for Lord Narayan because he can fulfill all my desires. Not just massage his feet. From that, I'll get everything I want. I'll get children, I'll get a house, I'll get a field, I'll get money, I'll get relatives, I'll get everything. And then you find out that the goddess of fortune doesn't bring all good fortune. And you find out this is two-handed Narayan. He can hardly hold a disc or a lotus. What to speak of giving anything to me. So they were coming for ashirvads, and then somehow or another the etiquette is if you catch someone's eyes, then you're obliged to invite them to come. So they caught Prabhupada's eyes, and these gentlemen came, and they said, Prabhupada said, oh, very nice to meet you, what can I do for you? And they said, Swamiji, we need your blessings. So many people come up and ask for blessings. And then Prabhupada said, so, what kind of blessings do you want? And they were surprised because no one asked such a complicated question. You're not supposed to ask, you're just supposed to wave your hand a little bit, and from you, emanate all the blessings come. I got what I wanted. Thank you very much. So they were a little surprised. They said, Swamiji, my daughter, she has to get married, and I don't have enough dakshin for the dowry, so I need your blessings. And then another one said, Prabhupada, I have this water on my foot. I went to the doctor 3 times, tried to get it off, it won't get off. I need your blessings. So Prabhupada pointed to the sannyas cloth of his disciples, saffron cloth, and said, this is my blessings. And they folded their hands and said, Swamiji, you look very tired. I think we'll come back later. And then those blessings they were not looking for. So the 10th canto, the first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, they give blessings. As a matter of fact, at the end of the chapter, as they say, you'll defeat your enemy, this and that will happen. But at the end, we understand that if we read the Bhagavatam, as it says, akama savakama va moksha kamu dharati divrena bhakti yogena jeta purusha para, that whether you're full of desire or have no desire or you desire liberation, that you should worship Krishna with tivrena bhakti yogena, with one focused attention, and then you'll get what you want. Dhruva Maharaj, he stopped eating. I mean, we have to fast for a day, it's a big austerity. And if you join the Hare Krishna movement, you had to say, you have to fast for a week. We think, well, I don't know about this movement. And then you find out that Dhruva Maharaj, he only ate kapita fruit once every 3rd day to begin with. And then for the 2nd month, he drank a little water once every 6 days. Most of us wouldn't last that long. And then for the 9th month, he only ate, first kapita fruit, then leaves that fell from the tree. Luckily it was autumn, so leaves were falling. Every 6th day, then a little bit of water every 9th day. Then he started 1 gulp of air every 12th day. And then he stopped breathing for the 5th month. And the 6th month, he stood on 1 leg. So this is not within our realm to go through this austerity. But then he focused his mind on what he wanted. But because he was doing it under the guidance of Narada Muni, therefore he focused his mind. But focusing his mind, he had to focus it on the devotional service. So Narada Muni, of course, he always tricks everyone. He tricked Dhruva Maharaj. He was focusing on devotional service to get what he wanted, and therefore he was actually focusing on Vishnu to get what he wanted. So then Vishnu came, and he actually got what he wanted. What he really wanted, he got the darshan of Vishnu, and he fell in love with Vishnu, with Krishna, Krishna Garbha specifically. And then because Swarma Kutarto na Chetet, that I was looking for some broken pieces of glass, but now I found a diamond like you. And therefore he didn't want anything. But Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna Garbha, Lord Narayan, he gave him Dhruva Loka because he wanted it. He was intensely desiring for it. He didn't have a small desire. He had for us, it would be a really big desire. And Krishna, for his devotees, he's obligated to fulfill, he feels obliged to fulfill those desires that his devotees have. So therefore he gave him a spiritual planet, which is the only planet around here which is bigger than the universe, is Vaikuntha. So, Bhagavatam is specifically that, the first 9 cantos. Yes, it's for those who are in distress, those who want some material gain, those who are inquisitive, and those who are searching after liberation. The different stages of spiritual advancement from karma yoga to jnana yoga to Ashtanga yoga, and then bhakti yoga. So though bhakti yoga is there within the first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, still it's there alongside of the materialistic desires. So it's understood that one is, by the time one gets to the 10th canto, it's assumed that one has already surpassed the desire for karma, for jnana, for yoga, for mystic power, and only wants love of God. Only wants to hear the pastimes of the relation between Krishna and his loving exchanges. There's no need for philosophy to give up karma, or jnana, or yoga. There's no need for that. One has already surpassed that. Therefore, in the 2nd canto, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that actually for the materialists, and we're not just talking about ordinary materialists there, or we are perhaps because there's not such a difference between ourselves and the ordinary materialists. In the sense that, as I said the other day, we come to the temple, and as soon as we come here, we go outside, there's the halos that we put on. We put on the halo, and we come here, and we're devotees. And then we walk outside the temple, and 2 little horns come up. We have a little tail in the back we have to tuck in. Of course, we wear our hats, and so that no one sees the horns. So. But then a different type of consciousness comes about. Generally speaking, we have intelligence enough, it's not like I'm in distress, or I need something, or what is this all about? I'm confused, or let me get out of this material world. Just let me enjoy without any hindrance in Brahman, liberation. So we're not ordinary materialists, but there's a tendency, there's some material desires there, and therefore our cure is to read the first 9 cantos of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in a devotional attitude, with care and attention. Then our material desires will gradually be dissipated because we'll get what we want. We'll go through the experience. Just like a brahmachari, he's thinking of romance all the time. So, and the householder is thinking, how did I ever get into this situation? So, who's actually in a better position? The householder or the brahmachari is thinking of romance? The householder who's actually taken to the process of household life correctly and is sitting down morning and evening with his family and chanting Hare Krishna, trying to get them to chant Hare Krishna together, finding out that I thought I was going to become the Lord of my family at least, and I can't even get them to sit down and chant Hare Krishna with me. So therefore, the whole struggle is different. The brahmachari is struggling with his mind. I want to enjoy, I'm trying to become Krishna conscious. If only I had, someone to do my laundry every day. If only I had some nice prasadam. If people respected me, etc. And then he pays the price for his desires. He becomes a householder and then struggles to somehow or another. First he was trying to satisfy his own mind. Now he's trying to satisfy 2 or 3 or 4 minds, including his own. Therefore, in the 2nd canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, it explains about how the material world is working. How this is a pastime of Krishna, as it says, for all the incarnations of Krishna, the Mudha avatars, that we're the Mudha avatars. We've come here, become fools. And here we're trying to Idam adyamaya labdvam imam prapse manoratam. Idam astim apime pravishati purardanam. Asamaya takshatra hanishe chapuranapi. Ishvaraham hambogi siram malavan sukhi. Adyo bijanavanas kanyosi sadrisho maya. Yakshe dashami mohita ityagana mohitara. So much is mine today. Actually, so much wealth do I have. And I'll increase more and more. So much is mine. In the future, I'll have more and more. He is my enemy. I've killed him. And my other enemies are all going to be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am perfect. I am powerful. And I am happy. I'm surrounded by rich and aristocratic relatives. I shall perform some sacrifice. I'll give some charity. And thus I shall rejoice. Or as Purnachandra Maharaj writes in his Gitamli, I'll go to the heavenly planets and there I'll kiss the apsaras. And this way the demoniac is bewildered by ignorance. So we have to see, do I have any of this tendency? When someone gives me something, am I joyful? Thank you very much, you're so kind. And when they take it away, well, what did you just do to me? I'll get even. You rascal. Do you know what you did? Have you ever heard that story of when the king Riga he took away one cow from the Brahmins, and you know what happened to him? Look at my thread. Do you know what's going to happen to you? Read that story, Prabhu. And I am so powerful. I have so many great opulences. I have intelligence. I have wealth. I have fame. I have knowledge. I have beauty. I have renunciation. I'm an Ishvara. Me and Krishna, we have a cooperation between each other. I glorify him and he makes me more and more of an Ishvara. So I can become bhogi, I can enjoy. Known in Sanskrit as Taranga Rangini. Get followers, get wealth, get prestige, and then just enjoy the small waves of devotional service. So the second canto points out that this is a pastime, and it's not a very pleasant pastime. It's the pastime of chastising the conditioned souls because they forgot Krishna. And if you want to enjoy the other 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam, if you want to get through the second canto, then you have to agree, yes, I may have all these anarthas, I may have all this tendency to enjoy the material world, but I'm going to add Krishna to it. Because it's all Krishna's pastime. And when I forget about it, then Maya is right there. Krishna bahir mukha bhagavansha tare nikatasta tare japatiyadar. As soon as we forget Krishna, then Maya is there to slap us down. We may want wealth. So many people are wanting wealth. So many people want to get in their suffering, get out of anxiety. So many people want to understand what's going on so that they can solve their problems. Not just suffering and wealth, material acquisition, but they have some doubts, they have some concerns, they want to save humanity from the Illuminati, from the pharmaceutical companies. So they have how to solve our problems. ChatGPT or something will give us the way and the light. And some people actually just want to get out of this place. No one loves me, everyone hates me. As they have in English, I'm going to eat some worms. I'm just going to get out of this place. Go to a nice, comfortable, warm place in the Brahmajyoti and sit there and think about how nice I really am. But no one appreciated me. So, at least we go through the second canto. Then if we read the third canto, we hear about in the 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj and others, then we'll understand we have to add Krishna to our material desires. We really want to get what we want, and at the same time, get something higher than anything we can expect, namely Krishna. So some faith in Krishna has to be there, some understanding, but at the same time, an understanding, we just don't walk out of our material desires. We have to see what's the difference between the taste that we're hankering for, that we're expecting is going to be so nice, and the real taste of Krishna consciousness, of experiencing rasa with Krishna and his devotees. At least the 6 loving exchanges, and we're associating with the devotees to enjoy the 6 loving exchanges with the devotees. And we can enjoy them if we learn how to apply them appropriately to the different levels of devotees, how to respect devotees within the mind, who are just chanting Hare Krishna, those who have actually become determined to sacrifice their lives to Krishna under the guidance of the representatives of Krishna, then we cooperate with them and spreading the mission to give compassion to the fallen souls. I think there's something that there's Namaruchi, Krishna Doya, and what's the other one? Vaishnava Sevya. So the first one is Namaruchi, Sadatam Kirtayanto Mam, then Krishna Seva, Namasant, Sadatam Kirtayanto Mam, Yatantas Cha Dritavrataha. And then the compassion for the conditioned souls, which comes about when the heart is purified and one falls in love with Krishna, and he sees everyone and everything in relationship to Krishna. Therefore, he loves everyone. And he's unhappy to see other paradukkha dukhi. He's unhappy to see Krishna's part and parcels unhappy, and see Krishna is unhappy too, that they're suffering. So Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, and Jivadoya. So these are the progressions in devotional service. We don't start out with Jivadoya. I remember going on book distribution for decades, and every time I saw a conditioned soul, my heart didn't melt. I saw, a little bit of understanding that this is helping them, but as far as, Jivadoya, I never remember feeling that. I had a quota, in the beginning I had a quota, and everyone I thought, they were nice if they helped me fill my quota. Every time someone gave me a donation, I subtracted it from my quota until the end of the day, and then I prayed to Krishna, and Krishna would send someone to give me his quota, to fulfill my quota. Just like we read the book distribution scores, and of course we should feel that, that mercy is given to the conditioned souls, including ourselves. But sometimes we hear our score and we think, yes, Maharati. A little bit louder, please, when you say. Inspiring me. Second canto. So therefore we go on. Now we're in the 10th canto, and Bhumi the cow is approaching the Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes, and we may think, why a cow? Anyone could have approached him. Why did she perform the form of a cow? So that's a whole other deeper understanding of what's going on. Why is Earth depicted in the form of a cow? Why not a tractor? Something more practical, like. Why did she approach in that form? Why not? Anyhow, that's what we have to understand. What was the earth all about? What is the earth? Where are we? What's actually going on here? Now, she was disturbed because the earth became overwhelmed by demons. And we're not disturbed at all. Most people are not disturbed. As a matter of fact, they themselves are demons. They're disturbed by the devotees. Even people aspiring to become devotees. And they approach the government not to get rid of the demons. They approach the government to get rid of the devotees. So that's the current situation in Kali Yuga. Why? Because principally speaking, they're against the cows. They're killing the cows. They're killing the animals, especially the cow, and therefore they're become dependent on tractors for their survival. Not the cow, not the bull who can simply plow the land, and 3 months Prabhupada said that you can work in the fields and get everything you need for the rest of the year, all the food you need. And not only you get the food you need, but because you haven't destroyed the atmosphere, the environment, you automatically have fresh water, clean air, you have a nice relationship with others, you're not envious, fighting for the food or the resources. You don't have to create an army to go and not beg. Ask people politely for a donation before you invade them. You have a choice. Either you voluntarily give us all your resources, or we take. It's called the give and take. You give to me and I take from you. So this is modern society, because they're killing the cow and the bull. Therefore, they're left with tractors and factories and fighting for oil and for resources, creating armies and making it polluting the air, polluting the water, polluting people's minds. And therefore, they're destroying everything, the earth, and earth is restricting, and therefore, just like with Prithu Maharaj, he threatened the earth because the earth was holding back the food grains. So what can we expect? We don't have, practically speaking, most places in the world, they don't even have real food grains. Everything has become coated with glyphosate and other things as a reaction for killing the cow and the bull. You don't have the fertilizer from the cow and the bull, then you have to create GMOs. You don't have to, but that's what they do. Genetically modified organisms, and then spray it with poison and offer it to the people who are demons to kill them. Here's my offering, directly from Kali. Take it, do us a favor and get out of here. So unless we understand how we've arrived, that there were actually devotees still present in Dwapara Yuga, and therefore the demons, they were defeated ultimately by Krishna's coming. So now we're in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada came, there were no devotees. Even in India, there were very few devotees. And even amongst those devotees, most of them were not pure devotees. Matter of fact, even the devotees had even the Gaudiya Math, they had some misconception of what the desires of their spiritual master were, their Acharya. And that because they had materialistic ambitions and they didn't add Krishna to them, they imitated the Acharya. And that's the quickest way down. Because it's one thing to be in ignorance, to not know who you are, what your position is, and then to strive to come to the higher level. The other thing is you assume that I'm on the highest level, and therefore no one can tell you anything. The Bhagavatam can't tell you, the devotees can't tell you, the Paramatma can't tell you. Only Maya will talk to you. You don't want to talk to anyone else but Maya, because Maya will tell you, no matter what you're doing, you're perfect. And everyone else is criticizing you. You think they're demons, because I'm a devotee, I'm a pure devotee. Anyone who dare criticizes a pure devotee must be a demon. So the only one who's actually my devotee, my pure devotee, is Maya, because she never criticizes. So let Maya take shelter of me, and I'll take shelter. We'll have a reciprocation between me and Maya, and that's the quickest way down. Maya keeps on telling you, whatever you do is perfect, and anyone who criticizes you, they're demons, so don't listen to anyone except for me, your mind, your mental, your false ego. That's your best friend. So this is the problem with jumping to the 10th canto, which is what happened to the Gaudiya Math, because those who became the acharyas, the leaders, somehow or another, people couldn't accept them. So therefore they put people on a platform. They were on a platform they didn't deserve to be on, or couldn't be on. They had no qualification. And therefore they invited everyone else to come to my platform of illusion. And they attracted some people into the platform of illusion. You can hear the 10th canto and imagine your gopis or manjaris or something and just enjoy on that mundane level. But it's the same thing as sex life on the subtle level, that's all. Radha and Krishna become the top, and then, it reminds you of Romeo and Juliet, and then you go down to Tarzan and Jane, and finally you arrive at Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Therefore, one should be careful. As it says, as Prabhupada said, although we have material desires, etc., we read the Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, when we go through it, because, but we add Krishna to it. We understand our fallen position, and we don't try to imitate a devotee on a higher platform, imagining that we're relishing the 10th canto when we're actually not. But we read it to get an idea what the spiritual world is like, what Krishna's pastimes are like. Because Prabhupada gave us Krishna book in the very beginning to give us some idea, but he added the Bhagavad Gita to it. Even Brahma is speaking the Bhagavad Gita in the Krishna book. He added the understanding that we have to add Krishna to this. And in spite of whatever position I am, I don't imitate the devotees on the higher platform and imagining that I'm just relishing these pastimes. Nor do we imitate the devotees on the intermediate platform and try and pick out some kind of, understanding that this is enlivening and enlightening me. It is enlivening and enlightening, but only because we understand in relationship to Krishna, to the Bhagavad Gita, the beginning 9 cantos of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Then the 10th canto will be enlivening and enlightening to us. And we understand that as long as I'm on the platform, I'm in distress, I need some help, I want some resources for my service or my existence, or that I'm striving to understand in the midst of my confusion how to make progress in devotional service, or I want to be on the platform of liberation from all material conceptions of life, that these are valid, these are considered pious, but they're not worthy of the perfectional stage of understanding the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. There are things we have to work through by adding practical devotional service to our lives, especially the preaching mission of Lord Chaitanya, because without the preaching and mission of Lord Chaitanya, we're not going to get rid of all these different anarthas. And therefore we'll never come to actually experience the 10th canto. So while we're reading it, we shouldn't give up the Sankirtan mission, the desire to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his mission, to perform sadhana bhakti, the morning program, hear about Krishna, get up early enough to attend some kind of program. Early enough means if we're working out on the outside, it may be different. But we should hear it, we should chant together, some kind of worshiping the deities, chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, serving the devotees, even if it's only my family members, and try and purify my heart and give this knowledge to others also, somehow or another. Whoever we meet, try to help them understand that they're not their body. We don't have to tell them that they're a gopi or a cowherd boy or whatever else. Don't worry, you're not a blade of grass. You're a gopi. We don't have to introduce this. Just tell people they're not their body. What to speak of the fact that there's a supreme person who's controlling things around here, and it's not us. Then we'll make some progress, even while we're reading the 10th canto, or any other canto, or Bhagavad Gita, and we'll be able to not bewilder ourselves into thinking we're on some platform we're not. We'll be able to derive benefit from hearing the Krishna book or the 10th canto, if we hear in the right attitude from the right source. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice class. Maharaj, you were mentioning about the false ego and how sometimes we think we're such an advanced devotee and we take the shelter of Maya. So Maharaj, if our goal is to become a mature sadhaka in Krishna consciousness, so what should our thoughts look like?
What should what look like?
If our goal is to become
I understand that one. What should look like?
What should our thoughts, how should
Our
we
thoughts
think
look like? They should look Krishna conscious. And it will only know if they're Krishna conscious if we read the literature, if we read the Shastra. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyasito Kyatva Shastri Vridhanota Karma Kartam Viharasi. Once you know what is duty and what is not duty from the regulations of Shastra, and knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so we can gradually be purified. So we have to be grounded in the Shastra. So when sadhu or guru tells us something, we hear Shastra. We just don't hear a sadhu or guru saying something. We see the whole disciplic succession coming from, we hear Krishna speaking to us from guru and sadhu. If we only see sadhu or guru and we don't see Shastra, we don't see Krishna, then guru and sadhu are not really effectively teaching us how to see everything in relation to Krishna, including with their instructions. So, when we're thinking about something, we should be able to discriminate. Is this Krishna conscious? Is this coming from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, which are all saying the same thing? Or is it coming from my mom and dad? Or my friends in school, or something I read on the internet?
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. What a wonderful discourse. My question is, you had mentioned about we should read the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam per our adhikar. So my question is, how do we upgrade our adhikar? We may find in the Bhāgavatam things that are spoken for those who have karma adhikar or jnana adhikar, for that audience, and we may identify with it. But we also understand what Srila Prabhupada has given, the Anyabhilashita Shunyam, the highest standard. So how do we elevate our adhikar, our qualification to appreciate the higher principles of pure devotional service as compared to mixed devotional service? Thank you.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada, as he wrote to me, he said, I wrote him something about how Bhava turns into prema. This is 1969. When I joined the movement, 68, the only books we had were the original 3 Bhagavatams that Prabhupada brought. And they weren't easy to read, the language as such. And the devotees weren't so much versed in what they were all about. We didn't, even the tapes, there was no tape library that you could actually, Golden Avatar was, you could get Prabhupada's tapes. We had to rely upon, once in a while our temple president would make a phone call to someone who was traveling with Prabhupada, we'd get some understanding. So unless Prabhupada was personally present there, you didn't really hear lectures from Prabhupada so much. So we had to rely upon that. So we had the only book, we didn't even have a Bhagavad Gita at that time. Prabhupada had instructed the devotees that they could only read one verse from the Bhagavad Gita from Radhakrishna. Professor Radhakrishna was the Vice President of India, his Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada said, don't read only the translation, not the purport from his book. But there was only one verse we had. De nosmin yatha dehe komaram yovaram jara. And Burjan Prabhu was the only, 2 devotees used to give classes at the beginning, 68. Burjan Prabhu, because he was a senior devotee in the temple. He had joined a couple of months before any of us, we did. He was the first to get initiated, and then second was Jagadish, and after that was me. So, but I wasn't qualified. What's that?
What temple?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
So, I wasn't qualified because I had joined 3 months later, so I was considered a neophyte. So Burton gave all the classes at the University of Buffalo. 3 times a week, he'd read the Bhagavad Gita verse, how the body's changing, but the soul isn't. That's all he knew. So I heard that for 3 months. Just the translation with Burjan Pru's commentary on it. And then Rupanuga used to give class at the university also, but we had limited resources. So I had written to Prabhupada because there was one book in the temple when I joined on this, where I was living on the second floor. We had 2 rooms, and I was living with there was a few devotees living at the temple. We were a Mahabig temple. We had like 5 devotees in the temple. And there was one book in a room that no one lived in. It was too small, but Rupanuga said there was a book in there called the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So he said, don't read it. He said, it's too advanced for you. So when everyone was asleep, I'd get up and get the book and start reading it. Because I thought, if I'm not supposed to read it, there must be something in there that... So I got up to the part where it said, because the first 19 chapters, at least in the Nectar of Devotion, were all about leads up to prema before you get into rasa, to the 5 different types of bhava. So I got up to the part how bhava was turning into prema. So I was curious. So I used to send Prabhupada donations, because I was the treasurer, for selling the blue Bhagavad Gitas. Every time we sold some of them. So I'd ask Prabhupada questions. And one time I asked Prabhupada a question, how does bhava turn into prema? Because I thought, well, I'm practically on the bhava platform, so it wasn't quite clear to me how long is it going to take till finally my bhava would turn into prema. So Prabhupada wrote me this letter, a full-page letter about preaching, in response to my letter, in response to my question. First was about how distributing the Bhagavad Gita will help, Buffalo, and we should go out, and he's encouraged me to do that. And the second paragraph was about how the boys, we just had a Rath-yatra in San Francisco, and 10,000 boys and girls were dancing and chanting in full ecstasy. That the boys and girls of your country are generally nice souls, therefore they've taken birth in such a nice country. That if they simply engage whatever assets they have in Krishna service, then their life will become perfect. And then Prabhupada write, I heard that in Buffalo, I heard in New York, in just 2 weeks they've distributed 3,000 back to Godheads. And then in Buffalo you're distributing back to Godhead very nicely too. So please continue in this way, and your success in life and Krishna consciousness is assured. As Krishna sees you're working seriously to bring his other children back to the spiritual kingdom, then he'll bestow all his blessings upon you. That Krishna is never ungrateful for our efforts to serve him, rest assured. So that's the secret. And then at the end of the letter on the other side, Prabhupada said that you're asking how does bhava turn into prema, but there's no need to worry, to trouble yourself over such advanced topics at the present time. My book, Nectar Devotion, will come out shortly, and you can read about it there. As far as you said, you enclosed $50, I don't find any money enclosed here. So that's our philosophy. Yari Dekha Tari Kaha Krishna Upadesh Amara Aga Guru Hare Desh. Whoever we meet, to fulfill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, we think about what can I say, what can I do to help them become Krishna conscious. That's called seriously working to help bring Krishna's children back to the spiritual kingdom. And if we don't know what to say, then we just say Hare Krishna. Is that right? Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.